I wanted to talk about activating the divine genome. And to begin speaking about that, I wanted to speak about the Creator. Mother Sophia, I call her, Mother Creatrix of all life. And when we were born as a soul, when we came in as a soul, we called in, there was a call from creation asking us to, something in creation was needed to better creation. I'm just going to speak without this because it's not working. And so our souls, the universe itself is calling out for something that's needed in creation. I spoke about this last night a little bit. And Mother, Creator, Father God responds to that call and creates our soul and imprints a blueprint, gives us a divine blueprint of every divine quality of Creator within it. And yet that call for birth was for a specific reason. And so not only are we given all the divine qualities within our genome of the Creator, but we're given a certain sequence of that blueprint which responds to the call of our soul for birth. So each one of us is here on a mission to do something. Our soul cried out to be born, and Creator responded to that call to make life better, to make creation even better than it already is. So we're all here to do something, and it's time to wake up to what we're here to do. And the only way to do that is to disconnect from what's going on in the world, all the chaos, all the craziness that's going on in the world. There's no way that you can fix that. That was created in a 3D model that was designed to control us. We are all a product of our of programming, of a society that, teaches us, what time to get up, which religion that we should pray to, which God we should pray to, what we should learn in school, which is not connected to anything that we really need to know. It's not about why we're here. It's not teaching us anything that we spiritually need to know. It's all about how to survive in 3D land. And so it's all distraction. It's all distraction to keep us from actually waking up to why we were born. And so we can ask. All we have to do is ask. The universe responds to every single request that we make without fail. It may not happen in the timing that you want it to show up in, but the fact that you've asked for it means that it's coming. So have faith and trust that when you ask for something, that the response is coming. It's on its way. The other thing is, I'm going to be going back and forth here. There are lots of things that keep us distracted, as you know. The media, movies, books, just the everyday 3D thing that we do. So we have to learn to come into our universe within. And that divine genome it's encoded, but it's latent. It's not actively operating in our system until we say, I want to activate my sovereign divinity, my genome, and actually do things every day to do that. And there's certain things that we can do. We can meditate, which is actually, people think that meditation is something that you just sit there and you do nothing, but actually it's energy in motion. You're actually moving energy when you're meditating. You are downloading your genome. You're downloading the energies from source, they're waking up, and as you're downloading that energy, all the junk starts coming up because there's no room for both place for the old and the new to be in the same place. So we have to empty the container, so to speak, before we can fill it up. And Jesus had a beautiful parable about that, where you can't put old wine into new skins because it's going to spoil the wine. And it's the same premise here. You can't fill the container with all this beautiful new stuff that's latently embedded in your genes, in your DNA, until you clean out all the crap that's in there. And so if we keep filling it up with crap, if we keep filling it up with all the chaos that's going in the world, there's no way we're going to get to where we need to be. So, like the gentleman before us was saying in his closing remarks, you have to stop connecting to that stuff. You can pray for it, you can mediate for it, but don't let yourself get pulled into that. It's all designed. They designed that to pull you, to trigger you, you know. So wherever you're not in alignment and you're triggered, that's where your work is. That's where you need to start going to work. And you go to work by going into that still point within. And the still point is where you contact Sophia. That's where the consciousness of Creator lies, is in the still point. The still point is being. You're actually in that point of being in the presence when you're in the still point. And so once you're in that still point, then you expand yourself. So you come in and you're just like, okay, I'm in that still point now, and I feel like all my thoughts are out here, they're trying to come in, and you just let them come in. Let them come in and kind of put them in a little bundle. Just kind of bundle them up, you know, real tight little bundle. And then you just allow them to dissolve into the light. Just let them dissolve away. You don't need those anymore. Just bring them in and dissolve them in the light. And now you have a completely empty container. And now that you're in your empty container, you just expand yourself out into the far reaches of the universe. Just feel yourself, because as a soul, you are as big as the Creator. You are a replica. You're a hologram of Mother Sophia. So as infinite as she is in her black womb space, where all of creation comes from, you're that infinite being as well. So when you empty that space, let yourself breathe in that space and just be in the emptiness, in the fullness of all that you are. And then the next thing you need to do is you need to claim that space. Okay, what am I here to do? All right, why was I born? You can go into that still space and commune directly to Source and ask, why was I born? I can tell you this, we were all born to embody the Christ. Each and every one of us is here to embody the Christ. But you have a specific reason or a specific plan, you might say, that has been embedded within your genes, that you're here to do something. You have a message, you have a gift, you have something that you're here to do. And the way to identify that gift is whatever you're passionate about, that's your gift. Whatever just gives you the most joy, that's your gift. And you may say, well, you know, I don't know how to make a living with that gift. I'm an artist or whatever. I can't make a living in the 3D land doing artwork. And, you know, that's 3D land. When you're connected to divinity and you're actually embodying, you're making yourself that empty container so that you can receive directly from Source. You have the power of Source behind you. You can create anything and manifest anything once you allow yourself to be the infinite being that you are. And you start letting go of all those belief systems that keep you locked in a box when it's time to get out of the box, right? So you clear the space, you clear the box out, you claim your space, okay? You may not know exactly what that is, but at least claim your joy. You know, whatever it is that you love to do, claim it, bring it into your space. And this is what I did in my life. I actually took all the things that were momentous moments for me, I took them and I wrote them down. It's like I remember certain things that happened to me in my life that I will never forget. Some of them were not positive, some of them were positive, some of them were astounding, but they all had significance. And so I wrote them down, and as I marked and traced my life, I began to see that I was being divinely guided since the minute I was born. Everything was connected. Like I had an experience where I was traveling down the Merced River on this little floaty thing that cost 25 cents. Probably could have died going down this river, down the rapids. And I was, this particular year, I couldn't go down the rapids because I had mosquito bites, and I was scratching the hell out of them, and my legs swelled up to here. And so I could barely walk, you know, so I couldn't walk down to the river, right? And so I was skimming rocks across the river, and all of a sudden, I'm having a nice time, and all of a sudden this black woman comes up to me. She's like, I don't know, 6 feet tall, and she says, "You hit me with a rock," boom, and slapped me across the face. And I was petrified. I was just a little thing, you know. I was probably 12 years old, and I was tiny, you know. I was, what is it? I didn't develop very, fast, so I was small. And so I was really pissed off. I mean, I don't like to be slapped. And my dander got up. So she went back on the river, and she's in the middle of the river, floating down the river, and I took this big rock, and I was just going to splash her with the rock. But Sophia had another idea. So when I threw that rock, it hit her right in the middle of the back of her back. She screamed and flew off the raft, and it was a very high river and strong currents. And I'm like, I'm out of here. So I was barefooted. I tell you, I had no pain. I was out of there like a rabbit, you know. And so the reason I'm telling you this story is, I don't know, 20, 30 years later, I was in a spiritual group, and I was called in to do service for the teachers had passed away, and there was a dark energy, a dweller energy that had gotten inside the group, and I had past experience in the Toltec teachings, and I knew how to work with dark energies, and I was called in to get this energy out. And in the process, I got kicked out of the group because they thought that I was the energy that they were having problems with. So, but what it was like, I saw that was like a slap in the face for me. Like the river represents humanity, and a black woman represents a change of attitude. And so I'm looking at the symbolic meaning of this experience I had as a 12-year-old, and I could see a correlation to an important event in my life that happened 25 years later. When I was a little girl, I had my first lightning and thunder experience. I was petrified. I thought the world was ending, and I went and hid in the closet till my mom came home. And she came home and said, where, my name was Cindy, where's Cindy? And I came out of the closet, and I was like, the world's ending, the world's ending. And she goes, no, it's not ending, we're fine, you know. Okay, so when I came up to Mount Shasta, 2008, I came up for the Lion's Gate, and I'm with my to-be husband and a friend, and we're up on the mountain doing ceremony, and we got transported to Atlantis, the end times of Atlantis, where the whole place is shaking and falling apart. And we had made a soul pact to bring in the energy that were embodying at that time. We were priests and priestesses. We made a pact to bring that energy into this now. So as we're sitting on the mountain, I'm feeling like I'm birthing this energy through my womb into the earth, coming into the mountain. And I'm like, oh my God. And then it dawned on me when I was writing my book that I thought the world was ending, because I really was there when it was ending, when Atlantis was going under. So what I'm trying to say is that everything in our life that has importance, that has memory for us, is a key to us to unlock why we're here. So I have unlocked innumerable lifetimes through dreams, through visions, through my contact, like meeting people. We both wake up to the fact that we've had a past life together. And as part of our genome, when we're born as a soul, we're not born into just one body. We're born into all of creation in multiple forms instantaneously. So what we call past and present is really the now. It's like all these lifetimes that we remember, they're happening right now. And what's interesting, if you look at the divine feminine calendar of the moon, you can see the cycle of events. Like with the solar calendar, we have the yugas, where you have the different ages that we've been able to track because of ancient civilizations that have able to bring us that technology. But if you look at the divine feminine lunar calendar, you can see the cycles in a perspective that's understandable to us. And in that cycle, you get peaks and valleys of consciousness. So in a high peak, we might be super conscious, and in a low one we're in war and killing each other, right? But if you track these cycles, which the I Ching is a great system for tracking stuff. But anyway, if you track these cycles, you will see that there are timelines and lifelines that travel on these same cycles. So when I'm peaking in my consciousness, like right now, let's say, in these other lifetimes, I'm still in that cycle. We're still flowing in the same cycle together. So any changes that I make in my consciousness in this now is affecting all these other parts of me that are out there. And vice versa, when the super conscious parts of myself are aware of what I'm doing in my unconscious state and seeing that I'm waking up, then you start getting more assistance from those other aspects of yourself. And so ultimately what we're trying to do, what we do in Ascension, is to bring all those consciousness, all those nows into one consciousness, into one body. And so when we ascend, we're not ascending to get off the planet. We're actually descending. We're actually, what's the word I want? Merging all of the parts of ourselves into one being, into one consciousness. And what does that do? That brings us back to Sophia Christ consciousness. That brings us back to the whole container, because we are all of her, right? And so I was sharing last night in the introduction about my first meditation, where Divine Mother came in and gave me a 3-day picture of what happens when the soul is birthed out of the womb space of Mother Sophia. And I was shown how out of the black hole womb space comes the light. It's like the white hole, and then from the light. Well, okay, when we move out of the womb space, we move into sound, and then light, and then actually into physical matter. So there's this whole web of life, which is all the life forms connected to her. She is our source of spirit, our blood spirit, you might say. We're connected to her through these cords, the silver cord, right? And it creates this huge web of life. And so as we become more conscious and start awakening, we start moving back to source. And then when we get back to the full consciousness of who we are, then we're sent out to support life. And so an example of that is the Ascended Masters, who have actually been through our process that we're going through now. They're helping us ascend, like they did, back into full consciousness of what and who they are. And so we have them as our support team. We can call on them, the angels and the Ascended Masters and You can call on the elementals. I mean, everything on the earth, we're taught that it's only us who are ascending, it's only us that has souls, but it's not true. Everything in creation has a soul. Everything is part of creation. So we're not any special creature. Every creature, every living and you would say non-living thing has a consciousness. So let me see. Where if I go from here? Any questions since I'm in a lull right here? No, because it's not working. So I was prepared not to use that. It was a beautiful slideshow. You would have liked it. It's about what I'm talking about. Let's. There we go. All right. Here we go. All right. So I covered that part already. Well, basically, our divine genome is a blueprint. It's a blueprint. And just like a fingerprint. I think I talked about that already. I talked about the soul, how we come in, how we have all the divine attributes. Oh, okay, Ark of the Covenant vehicle. This is a good one. All right, now, this is the great part. When we're born, when we're created as a soul, and we come into manifestation, the first manifestation vehicle is the electron, all right? So if you know about quantum physics, the electron can be multiple places at the same time. So when you start going in and discovering the universe within yourself, you start exploring, where the planets are in your body, where are the galaxies in your body, what's the DNA doing in your body. You can I actually see electrons. I've been seeing them since I was a little girl. I didn't know what they were. It dawned on me last year that I was looking at electrons. And I'm like, oh my God. Anyway, so you can connect to electron in this body, and those electrons are connected to all the manifestations that you are throughout the whole of creation. So once you know and start communicating with your divinity within you, you can actually go and physically visit your other manifestations, and vice versa. They can come into you. And the ultimate goal is that you get them all integrated as one. But the electron is the Ark of the Covenant vehicle. That is the Ark of the Covenant. And you are an Ark of the Covenant vehicle because you are made up of all these electrons. And the electrons it's fascinating because when you meditate and go into that still point, you're actually creating a seed. You're going into the womb and you're planting a seed, right? And the seed, what happens with the seed? It opens up, it turns inside out, right? You got this turning inside out. And you're birthing an idea, right? You're birthing the plant comes out. And so when you meditate and you concentrate with intention and with feeling and that stillness, and allow Sophia to flow through you, what is the best solution for your life, what you're here to do in your life, you actually are creating through the electron. So that thought then pops out of the seed, right? And you start, that's how you create. That's how we create. So let's see where we go from here. All right, that one doesn't work. All right. All right. So your divine genome is your immortality gene. And I already spoke to this. You have multi-dimensional lives that you're going to be connecting to. And in fact, I think someone spoke to this last night. Michaela, have you been actually experiencing things that are outside of your feelings outside of your experience. I mean, I remember back in 2008, I watched a movie about Merlin, and there was something about the movie that was like stimulating this deep feeling in me, and I felt like I was getting there was a message, and the message was it's time to birth a new Camelot. That was the message in the movie, that like someone said that in the movie, and that's like rang in my ears like a bell. And I'm like, oh my God, they're speaking to me. It's time to build a new Camelot. And then all these feelings came in, these really heavy feelings about something that I had no conscious memory in this lifetime. I knew it was a past life. I knew it was connected to this Camelot picture. So as we start activating that genome, those memories start coming in. I was actually meditating the other day, and I saw this tree person. It was definitely a tree, but it was but like humanoid form, and it had these really strong muscular legs, and it was kind of knotted muscles, and then when the head came up, it had knots, like tree knots on it, and hair growing out of it. And I'm like, that's a tree person. That's me. That was like my root chakra in a way. This, like, that being is an embodiment of my root chakra. And then I saw the feminine aspect of that being, and it was looked like an East Indian person with long flowing hair. And the energy was really soft, and it was like I was seeing the other side of that energy, the divine feminine side of it. And I was like blown away. I was like, these are my manifestations that are coming into my vision, and I'm feeling them, and I'm understanding them. So we are basically a tree. We are a tree. We are the tree of life. And we have all this network going on throughout us. We can communicate to Mother Earth through that network. Just like in Avatar, where they talked about the trees being connected to the ancestors and the whole network going into the earth, and they all were communicating together. That is so true. That's exactly what's happening we are a tree. We are, our arms, our head is like the branches out into the cosmos, and our legs root us into the earth. So we can become the tree of life and actually bring down energy from Mother Sophia down into the earth. We can be like the circuit. We're like a circuit for the energy to flow in. We're bringing in energy, we're bringing in vision, we're bringing in solutions for our world by going to that still point, emptying the container, creating the space, claiming the space, and then you got to create the space. And to create the space is, I'm here, Mother. What is the solution? I'm praying about this. What is the solution? I'm here as your vehicle. And let her bring you the answers. Let her bring you the vision of why you're here, what you came to do. It's not about you doing anything. In fact, the more you do, the less you get, the less you're connected. The only time that doing happens is when you have the vision, you have the answer, and you cannot stop yourself. You're like, the energy is like coming through you like a train. It's like, okay, now it's time to be in action, because you've now received the guidance and the solution of what you can do to change the world. All right, let's see. No. Okay, we talked about that. We pretty much talked about that. This is just telling you what what a genome is. It's your hereditary information. But the divine genome is your divine information, right? Okay, so, and your DNA is your divine inheritance. And so when you start exploring that DNA, it's pretty incredible. Did anyone see the movie Lucy?
I watched it last night.
Isn't that great? Lucy. Oh, okay, so in the movie Lucy, it's pretty violent, but the basic message is that because of an accidental drug that she was given, which is like a woman's 6 week of pregnancy, she brings in some chemical that has the power of an atomic bomb, which helps to form the baby. And she was given this synthetic drug in her body, and so it was implanted in her belly, and when the bag broke open, she started coming into full consciousness. She was being activated, exponentially in like a day. And so as she was activated, she started, being able to control people, things, electronics. She was actually seeing the DNA strands connected to everyone's. She was seeing everyone's DNA, like in the Matrix where they have little numbers running down. Well, this was just strings of DNA, light running through everything. And she would like strum through it and go, okay, I want to listen to that person on the phone. I want to connect to that television. And she would just go to the DNA, the string. And then as she started getting more activated and being able to stop people, stop bullets, create invisible walls, and actually going into full consciousness. While she was going into full consciousness, she actually went back to all her lifetimes and all the way back to Lucy, which is like, remember they found the bones of Lucy, the ape? She went all the way back to Lucy, and her name was Lucy, right? So, and then when she's going into, so she wants to know what can she do with all this information that she has, what can she do with it? And a scientist was helping her and says, well, in life we pass it on. So she says, okay, I'm going to pass it on. So she created this little computer chip which had all the information that she was activating so she could leave it to humanity. But when she was actually dissolving, she was turning into liquid, it looked like liquid carbon. She was actually moving out of her carbon-based body and totally into light. And that's what we're going to do. We're our carbon, the atom, the carbon atom is 666, and I talked about this last night. 666 is not something evil. It's not the devil. It's physicality. It's the carbon atom. That's what we're made of. That's what our genes are made out of, carbon. But we're turning, with the divine genome coming in, we're turning into a crystalline light body. And so when we start activating and downloading our crystalline light body, that carbon goes out. It starts spitting out. So as I've been working with my DNA, I've been watching my light body coming in. It's like I saw it as a streaming blue kind of rainbow, very fine rays of light. Almost like when you look at the sun and you see the rays coming down from the sun. They were like that. But it was bluish, with blue rainbow color coming down. And as it was flowing into my body, I started seeing black stuff squirting out of me. And I got like, oh my God, what's happening in the meditation? And I heard right away, no, it's fine. That's your carbon, that's your DNA, going out. The old stuff's going out. So I really flashed that, like Lucy, where she actually her whole body was turning black as she was dissolving. It's like the theater version of it. But on the inner, we actually are getting rid of that carbon stuff and replacing it with a new crystalline light body. Okay, let's see. All right, I talked about that. Okay, so the interesting thing about consciousness is that when you go to the still point, what happens is you actually start bending the light. You bend the light. And so this is a good image because when you go to that still point and the seed pops open, you create, you're like creating this torus action. You're like unfolding. You're like this flower unfolding. And so I like to know how it works. I'm like one of these people that wants to understand it. So I like bring in these details. But I had this. I was concentrating on a still point, and in my meditation, and what happened is all of a sudden I was looking at a point of light in my third eye, and all of a sudden it exploded into the Sri Yantra. And after the Sri Yantra disappeared, there was this yellow portal. And as I'm looking at the yellow portal, I'm seeing all these electrons flying in and out of it. And as I was outside meditating, and as I'm looking at the portal, all of a sudden, hummingbirds, dragonflies, hawks kept flying in and out of this portal. I mean, they all of a sudden they just showed up in this portal. And I realized that, you know, when you get out of 3D consciousness, all these beings are flying in and out of multiple dimensions. And this was a portal that I had opened up into my consciousness, which means I've opened it up, I can travel through it. But when I first opened it up, I'm like, I don't know what to do with this. What does this mean? What do I do with this portal? But anyway, but it's, the Sri Yantra is basically, it's called a manifestation tool, but what it does is, it's actually a representation, a 3D representation of what happens in our DNA, when we create that still point. It creates this. Okay, if you look at the atom, it has 3 wheels, and those 3 wheels create a rose pattern, which the whole movement of the universe of creation is through circles. If you look at the galaxies, they all have this spiraling action. So when we start activating our genome, we start accelerating our atoms. And as they spin faster and faster, they're creating these waveforms. And so we've got energy coming this way, and we have energy coming this way. And it starts compressing. And what you're compressing is, you're actually, when you create a still point, you're creating inertia. And inertia is gravity. So you're actually compressing your energy, which creates a charge. And when you create enough charge, you actually come out of the shell, so to speak. You come out of the seed. You turn yourself inside out. And let's see, where was I going to go with that one? Excuse me. Let me just collect myself for a moment. Okay, so when you turn yourself out, you then go into superliminal speed, which means you're moving faster than light. And that's when you start working with the electrons, where you create things instantaneously. You are now outside of the container, and you can create and go anywhere, basically. So I wanted to do a little meditation, but I just kind of want to tune in with the group in terms of, do you want to hear more about this? Would you like to experience this for yourself for a moment? Think so? Okay. All right. Let me just close that. Yeah. Yeah.
You were talking about how we're living in this body, and that our carbon is falling off. Is that why a lot of people are having a lot of health crises nowadays, and aches and pains and different things are coming up from them? Or would you know?
What I would say is you're bringing in a new body. So your chakras, everything's being upgraded to facilitate the higher frequency of energy. So, dizziness and headaches and, cravings for food, you can't stop eating, then you don't want to eat. just all this up and down stuff is all about us being activated and actually creating a new body and raising our frequency so that we can, embody our genome, right? Yeah, yeah. Okay, so let us do a little meditation and go to the still point. All right, so everyone, please just connect to your breath, the breath of life. Mother Sophia, her breath is your breath. And feel the beat of your heart. And if you really sink into the heart space, you can feel the breath and the heart in alignment. Your breath is beating with your heart is beating with your breath. And now imagine that there's this beautiful pink rose that is in the center of your heart. And I just want you to spiral down into the very center of that rose. And in the center is this white light. This is the temple, the sacred seed atom within your heart. And let us just see some golden doors in front of us opening, and let us enter in to the sacred temple of our heart. And just feel yourself sinking into a deeper place of peace. And now let us call in the higher self. See it as a white dove descending from your crown, through your third eye, through your throat chakra, down into the heart. And as it enters into the heart, it comes as a waterfall of grace, of cleansing waters. Feel it moving throughout your body, washing away all the concerns of the day. And see yourself as a chalice with the waters overflowing. And the waters are flowing down your spine, down your legs, through your feet, into Mother Earth. And now you're connecting with the sacred core atom of Mother Earth. Your heart and her heart are one. Feel her love. Feel her arms around you as a mother would embrace her child. And now let us see a white pillar of light flowing down from Mother Sophia, descending down through your crown, down through your spinal column, down to Mother Earth. And now let us join in a circle in this sacred space. And let us just bring in any remaining thoughts, any burdens that you might have. And just bundle them up in front of you. Place them in front of you. Place them in our sacred circle. And let's dissolve them with the light coming from Mother Sophia. Just see it dissolving. And now let the empty space fill you up. See the space as the universe flowing out from you. A blank field in front of you, all around you. Feel yourself expand into this space. Feel this space within your cells, expanding your cells. See this space within your cells. And now let's go even deeper. Let's go to the atoms. You see these points of light spinning all around. And the space around them is getting even bigger and broader. And now let's go deeper into the electron. Little point of light, your first manifestation as an embodiment. And just let yourself commune with this electron. And ask it, beloved electron, why was I born? What part of the Christ am I here to manifest? And just be aware that this answer may come in its own timing. It may come as a feeling, vision, a voice, a feeling. Let's just be with it for a moment. All right. And now let's claim anything that was received, anything that you're aware of, that you know that you are here to do, any passion that you're aware of. Claim it now. Call it in. And now in this empty space, just allow the answers to come. And come back here every day and see what comes in. It's a step-by-step process. There's no race to get anywhere. There's no destination other than you waking up. So just be kind to yourself. Be gentle. And go in every day and ask, what's the next step? What can I do today to be more aware, more conscious? What do I need to clean out of my container today? And bit by bit, you'll find that it's all gone and that you're living your dream, you're living your passion, you're creating miracles on earth. And I bless you. I bless you all in your service to humanity and to Mother Earth and to all of creation. And just to wrap this up, I just want to say that I'm offering Giving Birth to Being, Heart Wisdom Essentials to Heal, Birth, and Reclaim Your Divine Potential as a Leader and Dreamweaver of Sophia Christ Consciousness. I'm offering free consultations for new clients if you want to sign up on the sheet. I'm also at the booth. And I'm also going to be an author for the next year at a new magazine, internet magazine called Luminous Wisdom, Remembering Sophia. And I'll be posting that on my blog site, so keep your eyes open for that. That should be interesting. And namaste. Thank you so much for being here.